All right, folks. So Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire created a film about lefties on college campuses getting attacked and killed by Islamists, by ISIS terrorists. And it tells a deeper story about the woke progressives that are constantly bashing Israel and protesting, setting up encampments in favor of Islamists who hate everything they stand for. So this is a really interesting film. It'll be out soon, and we're going to check it out. Before we do, make sure to like, subscribe, share, leave your comments. Follow me at Rafi the Realtor for all of your South Florida real estate needs, and you can support the channel by taking a moment to go to the Buy Me a Coffee link, which can be found in the pinned comment or description. Let's get right into it.
So we made a kick-ass movie about Islamic terrorism, and the terror-supporting left then called us Islamophobic. Honestly, we could not get a better endorsement for the film. Run, Hide, Fight, Infidels is literally about ISIS taking over a college campus. So when a left-wing terror hugger like Mehdi Hasan says that the movie generates hatred for Islam, I mean, you're kind of outing yourself. I don't know. It seems like a good idea to be phobic of Islamic terrorism. I think we should be concerned about ISIS. They're the bad guys. Everybody should know exactly who they are and what they do. If people are pissed at the trailer, just wait until they see the film. So Infidels is basically a sort of 1980s, 1990s style action flick, toy soldiers, Red Dawn style major action movie starring Jonathan Majors about an ISIS takeover of an American lib university. It's exciting. It's intense. It's funny. It's the biggest movie we've ever done. If you missed the trailer yesterday, here it is again, so you understand what we're talking about when we get to the critique.
Your country is beneath contempt.
We who love and serve Allah fought back against the Americans and the Zionists from the scourge of secularism and the lands of unbelief.
Anyone gonna listen to Captain Saunders tomorrow? The retired Delta Force soldier with a new book out.
He's the polar opposite of those brain-dead protesters.
Given the current climate, should Clay Saunders even be allowed on campus?
Mr. Saunders is a close personal friend of Chancellor Friedman. This is a decision I cannot fight.
There are three ways Islam will conquer the West. Through immigration, through the wombs of our women, and by using our nation's freedoms against us. Are you paying attention?
Listen carefully. The great Satan, America, will fall. You are infidels. The bodies of women are not pure and the men's souls are unclean.
What makes them so dangerous? Their goals are not in this life, but the next.
I got friends here, I can't just leave.
Listen to me! Illallah. We cannot run or hide from what is coming. We have to fight.
I will be rewarded 10,000 times in the next life. When you die, you're nothing. Only one way to find out.
That's the American way.
Okay, so first off, I should say the movie is awesome.
It's such a weird dystopian world we're living in. There's such a clear war of cultures right now, war of civilizations. And everyone's trying to propagandize everything. Like, my channel is very pro-Jewish, pro-Israel, anti-Islam. Now, I'm not against Muslims. I'm not against the people. But my point is to defend the Jewish people, to give our side a voice and show the wrongs of Islam. This is like, and then Muslims like Ali Dawah, Muhammad Hijab, and Sneeko, and all these other and everyone's just like, oh, we're better, and we're and then there's this movie Ben Shapiro puts out, and it has the call to prayer, the azan at the end, right when it cuts to the end of the movie, and you have their classic slogans. The guy says "Illallah" as he's cutting that goth chick's head off, and it will be whatever, just slitting her throat. It's so crazy. 2026 is such a fucking nut. We live in Looney Tune land. Just planet Earth is a crazy fucking place. When I just sit back for a second and I have some perspective about this, humans are fucking nuts. Oh my God. Let's hear Ben though. I want to hear Ben kind of going into this movie. I really want to watch this. It doesn't look like an amazing blockbuster. It gives American Pie meets Black Hawk Down. I mean, Black Hawk Down had African Muslim terrorists, but it looks like a C-list movie. It doesn't look like it's going to blow my mind in terms of the acting. The acting looks pretty weak, at least for a good number of the actors. But I think the story, for people who are actually willing to listen, people who aren't going to just say, Israel made this movie, Ben Shapiro. If people are actually willing to listen to the message behind it, which is suicidal empathy kills, then hopefully people are going to learn something from it. If they're not going to just focus on like the subpar acting and the fact that it's not a super high budget film. But I think the messaging is very important. Let's get back to business.
Okay, I know. And by the way, if you don't believe me that it's awesome, you should go watch Run, Hide, Fight, like the first Run, Hide, Fight, right? Because this exists in the Run, Hide, Fight universe, Infidels. And the first Run, Hide, Fight is available right now over at Daily Wire, and you should check it out. It is one of our most viewed pieces of content literally ever because it's great. It's about a girl and her friends trying to fight back against a school shooter. It's fantastic. Go check it out, Run, Hide, Fight. Same director, same writer. Okay, so that's as far as the quality, it kicks ass. It's great. It is better than the first one. Okay, but let's get to the blowback because the blowback is so telling. So, Mehdi Hasan did what you would expect. Mehdi Hasan, an import from Al Jazeera, and a spokesperson for Qatar, it's difficult to come up with a more bigoted, Islamophobic, and cliched trailer than this one. Okay, so I have a question. Why is it Islamophobic to point out what ISIS actually does and says? It turns out that he's going to have to explain to me how an Islamic terror group that is literally doing everything that is done in the movie, is done by Islamic terror groups all over the world. Why is depicting those people on screen Islamophobic? He's going to explain how that actually implicates all of Islam. Does it? I mean, if it does, then maybe Mehdi should explain. Why is it Islamophobic to literally just quote ISIS doing ISIS things? I don't like ISIS doing ISIS things. I think it's bad. And so therefore, I'm very much in favor of movies that paint ISIS as the bad guys. Why that is remotely controversial or hiding behind the rubric of Islamophobia is bizarro world. Bizarro world. Bigoted. Why is that bigoted? See, why is it bigoted to say, it's bad that ISIS does ISIS stuff and wants to murder Americans and would love to set up a caliphate here in the United States if they could? Why is any of that, quote unquote, Islamophobic? Why are you hiding behind a nonsense word? Why are you doing that? And then he says, also, Hollywood has refused to tell the story of radical Islam. Is Shapiro insane or just gaslighting? Muslims have been the main villains in Hollywood for decades, even predating 9/11. That's just horseshit. It's not true. I mean, seriously, you could probably count on one hand the number of movies, major movies, where Muslims are the villains. And in fact, Hollywood routinely changed Muslims from being the villains of films, like over and over. Most famously, there was a Ben Affleck movie that was rooted in an action novel by the same guy who did Hunt for Red October. There's a Jack Ryan movie called The Sum of All Fears. And The Sum of All Fears was supposed to be about Palestinian terrorists. In the book it is. They changed it to Russians. That sort of stuff happens all the time in Hollywood. All the time. Hollywood is constantly doing movies about the neo-Nazis, about the radical Russians, even the North Koreans. They'll stay away from the Chinese because there's too much of a Chinese movie market. But they have really stayed away from, ever since 9/11. I'm old enough to remember when the show 24 literally had to deploy Kiefer Sutherland to apologize publicly for possible Islamophobia in the show because there was a season about the counterterrorism unit, which is what 24 was about. Great show. In which Muslims were the bad guys. And it turns out, by the way, even the Muslims were working for some sort of cross-national corporate organization or something. because that's how Hollywood always has to play it. So, like a balls out depiction of exactly what ISIS does, I'm not sure how that's Islamophobic. And if you think it is, you're telling on yourself, because I think we should be phobic of ISIS. They're the bad guys. I mean, I think that it is good that the American people know who their enemies are and what those people think and what they say and what they do. And Kyle's script definitely does that. It definitely, I mean, again, the trailer is just the tip of the iceberg. If they're pissed off at the trailer, wait until they see the film. Again, I don't understand why it is incredible to me. People are upset because the movie is anti-ISIS. First, here's a challenge. Next time you're at the grocery store or the supplement aisle, pick up a product and then read the ingredient list. If you need a chemistry degree to figure out what it is that they want you to eat, maybe that's telling you something. One of the things I like most about Balance of Nature is its simplicity. Their whole health system is built around 47 ingredients from real fruits, veggies, spices, and fiber. Apple, broccoli, ginger, turmeric. These are ingredients you actually recognize. Balance of Nature doesn't try to outsmart nature. I appreciate products that move in the nature.com today. Subscribe to the Whole Health. Will also send you a free gift. It is healthy and it's good for you, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Go check them out right now. Balanceofnature.com today. And meanwhile, people who legitimately sympathize with ISIS, like, for example, the idiot streamer Sneeko, he put out a tweet. The kuffar are getting so desperate, they're trying to do Bush-era propaganda in 2026. No one cares anymore. We all know the Israelis are the real terrorists. Now, I would just like to point out at this point, the root of kuffar is also kafir, which is infidels. So he's literally calling people infidels. In that tweet, he's calling people infidels, saying the infidels are desperate. The infidels. And by the way, Sneeko says you should be afraid of the Juden, of course. He was literally chanting Nazi propaganda. But this is the same guy who openly says, quote, congrats to Abdullah el-Sayed, the first Muslim to win a primary for the U.S. Senate. Islam will save America, inshallah. I don't know. I feel like maybe we should be a little concerned. Sneeko, the guy who's telling you should not worry about Islam, literally goes out on the streets of New York and chants that Islam is about to take over America. And we're supposed to just pretend this is not a thing that is happening here in the United States, or that it is totally crazy to make a movie in which the ISIS aligned and their sympathizers are the bad guys? I don't know. I kind of feel like they're the bad guys. And as for the notion that ISIS is just not a threat in America, yeah, they kind of are, actually. In fact, ISIS remains the chief threat of terrorism worldwide today. According to the Global Terrorism Index, 20% of all terrorist groups, of all terrorist attacks on planet Earth are attributable to ISIS right now. And, of course, we've seen a multiplicity of radical Islamic attacks in the United States, not including 9/11, which killed 3,000 people and injured 6,000. We're all supposed to pretend that never happened. It is insane to me that we as a country have decided that September 11th is totally irrelevant. And in the city where 3,000 people were murdered by radical Muslims, the city of New York decided to make its mayor a person who is sympathetic to radical Islam. It's insane. It is totally crazy. But this is where we are, and that is indeed a threat. But, just take the last decade and a half or so. The 2009 Fort Hood shooting, 13 killed, 30 injured. The 2013 Boston Marathon bombing, 3 killed, 260 plus injured. The 2014 Queens Hatchet attack, 2 NYPD officers injured. The 2015 Chattanooga Military Recruitment Center shooting, 5 killed, 2 injured. 2015 San Bernardino attack, 14 killed, 22 injured. The 2016 Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting, 49 killed, 53 injured. 2016 New York City, New Jersey bombings, 31 injured. 2016 Ohio State University attacks, 11 injured. 2019 Pensacola Naval Air Station shooting, 3 killed, 8 injured. 2020 Corpus Christi base attack, 1 injured. 2025 New Orleans Bourbon Street attack. That was the one where the truck actually had an ISIS flag on the back of it. 14 killed, 57 plus injured. See, so here's the thing. I don't know. I feel like we should be concerned about ISIS and all the people who are willing to defend ISIS by just shouting Islamophobia. We should be concerned about those people. We should. We should be talking about the threat of radical Islam. How do I know that? Well, I mean, one reason is we will probably have to spend millions of dollars as a company on security because we're making a movie depicting radical Muslim terrorists as radical Muslim terrorists. Now, I can tell you this. If we made a movie about Christian nationalists and how evil they are, we would not have to up our security. We would not. But if I literally took out a piece of paper right now and drew a stick figure and wrote the word Muhammad with an arrow to it, I would have to up my security radically. That says something about an ideology, does it not? Here's the thing. if I have nothing to fear from devotees of an ideology, then I really shouldn't have to worry about people being murdered because I speak about that ideology. And Salman Rushdie writes a book 30 years ago, and the Iranians put a fatwa on him, and he's stabbed in the eye 30 years later. And unfortunately, when you scratch beneath the surface of the Islamic communities across the West, it turns out there are an awful lot of people who believe awfully radical things. For example, just 2 years ago, a Henry Jackson Society poll of British Muslims found that 52% of them, a majority, believed it should be illegal to draw Muhammad. Illegal. You should be legally punished for drawing Muhammad. That same poll found that British Muslims are more likely to have a positive than a negative view of Hamas. And by the way, a lot of that sentiment is shared across the pond here in the United States. A Pew poll from just a couple of months ago found that 44% of American Muslims expressed favorable views of the terrorist group Hamas. 44%. And there's a reason that Abdul El-Sayed won 90% of Dearborn, the same city where Jake Lang was getting the crap kicked out of him the other day. And it turns out there are a lot of Muslims in the West who are willing to morally equivocate about radical Islamic terrorism and violence and then shout Islamophobia the minute you notice it. And there are a bunch of leftists who are willing not only to fellow travel with it, but are willing to ingest it, imbibe it, make it part of their program. That's the story of Run, Hide, Fight Infidels, but it also happens to be the story of America right now. We're watching it happen in real time, in our politics.
Damn, so that's a crazy movie. It's gonna be interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to watching it. But let me know your thoughts, guys. I mean, do you think that this is a genuine threat to the West? Do you think ISIS could commit some sort of attack? It's not the first time Muslims have attacked schools. It would be very stupid of them to do it, but give it enough time and it's definitely an inevitability. England has had way too many incidents. Way too many incidents. So has France. So has the Netherlands, Amsterdam, Holland. They've been all over the place. With that said, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Leave your comments. Follow me at Rafi the Realtor on Instagram for all of your real estate needs in Miami and the greater South Florida area. I'd love to help you out. And you can go take a moment to support the channel by clicking on the Buy Me a Coffee link, which can be found in the pinned comment or description. I thank you for your support. Thank you, as always, for watching. I look forward to you tuning into the next one. Until next time, peace.